What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it off, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it off.
What is going on? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland on a fine Thursday morning, afternoon for some of you. Hope you guys are having a good day. We are, this is going to be a 1 hour session today. Nothing over the top, just, Tech Thursday as we always do, except for last week, which I was on vacation, and maybe the week before that. I've been struggling a little bit with because of obligations, family obligations, and just trying to live life a little bit, take a little break off of everything, work, streaming, YouTube, a little bit of everything. So today. It's Tech Thursday. Very, very simple the way Tech Thursday works. If you have a question, you just throw the, make sure I got this in here. You just throw the ask right in the chat. Put the ask in first, hopefully. And then after that, we're good to go. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. This is going to be a short session because I do have someplace to be after this, and I cannot be late. I would love to be, I'd love for everybody to wait for me, wait on my time, but that's not real life. In real life, you are operating on other people's times. But I will say this, I am, the timing is because of me, so I appreciate them, extending themselves out for that. Let's see here. Right off the bat, by the way, a couple of shots out before we begin. We got to shout out DJ Queso, Radbone, that's one of my mods. Mixmaster GNL, that's the homie right there. He runs all of the conversion tools for DJs. So make sure you follow Mixmaster GNL. Make sure you're watching his show on YouTube about converting. I'm in the process of converting. I talked to Mixmaster before I went on vacation. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run this. I'm going to do this. I did absolutely nothing. I literally did nothing. I brought my computer. I brought all the stuff I needed to do things while I was on vacation. And I did nothing. The computer, I kid you not, never came out of the bag. Never came out of the bag. It was just vacation. I brought the Denon Prime Go because I was going to do some on-location mixing. I was up in the mountains in Lake Arrowhead. If you're not familiar with Lake Arrowhead, it's the place that Californians go when they can't go to Mammoth. Lake Arrowhead is in the San Bernardino Mountains, adjacent to Big Bear, where all the snowboarding happens. So there's a beautiful lake. We're right on the lake. We go there every year, and the Wi-Fi was good. I was gonna do some. I didn't have a problem with the Wi-Fi. Strangely enough, the best internet was literally in the middle of the lake. In the middle of the lake, I ran my bandwidth tester, and I was getting like 40 megabits up, 100 down, and this is just on LTE, not even 5G. So, note to self: if you ever want to really, really have a great streaming session, do it from a boat in the middle of the lake. Who knew? Okay, let's do Mixmaster says that's what vacations are for. Yes, you are right. Although I did have some work stuff too, and I was a little. I probably could have ducked a couple of things. I sent out contracts and things like that because people are selfish when you tell them, hey, I'm on vacation. They're like, great, but can you do these 5 things for me? So it is what it is. Okay, let's do some questions. Let's do some questions here. Let's see what we got here. DJ Jeet, all the way from Chicago. Welcome out. Like I said, DJ Queso. Chris Dis back in the building. Good to see you. Who else we got here? J Styles Sounds. Nice to see you. Okay, let's answer a few questions. All right. Rat Bones says, I was using BeatSource Link on DJ iPad. Have you noticed that it won't load some tracks in pre-made playlists? I have not noticed that at all. Huh. Let's see. Where did I put it? Ah, there it is. Hold on a second. All right, let's take a look here. You should always have music going. You gotta have music. Let's knock out not that guy. There we go. All right. Let's see. Let's go to. I need to clean off this thing. It's a little dirty. Okay. You said pre-made lists. Oh, okay. I know what's going on here. So every so often, I don't even have to pull this. Every so often in BeatSource, you will get files that just won't load. I don't want to say it's a corruption thing, but it's definitely a glitch. And it definitely happens in their pre-made list. Every so often, you'll scroll down and you try to load something. It's like, it won't load at all. I don't know why it does that. I've told them about that. Every time I tell them, they go back, they tweak something, and then it works again. So it's definitely a glitch of some sort. And hopefully they will resolve it. Hopefully. But I do know that one. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, DJ Throwback asks, okay, why won't Pioneer just come out with the DDJ 1000 style controller with moving platters and effects, paddles, and obliterate the controller market? That is a very, very good question. It's one that I would love to see, and I do hope they do come out with some sort of competition for the Rain 1. Look, first of all competition is good competition, okay? The more choices we have as DJs, the better we are as DJs. And all that it does is it pushes everybody else to move up to a higher level. So I know, the Rain 1 is not an anomaly, okay? Anybody that makes DJ equipment can see that the Rain 1 is something that people, are asking for. Now, it may not be the Rain 1 for you. It might be some other manufacturer. But I know that manufacturers are looking at that like, okay, we need a competitor. So I believe it's just a matter of time before we start seeing other companies come out with things. But to answer your question specifically, let's just wait and see. Pioneer is not the kind of company that just sits around and lets people just kind of take over a market. This is Pioneer's playing field, so to speak. So, it's just a matter of time. And look, hey, we got things coming around. You got Atlanta, you got NAMM coming in January. We'll see what happens. But for right now, the Rain 1 is a very good controller, a controller that I use all the time. It's a very good controller. Does it have flaws, which is probably the wrong word? But yes, it has some things that I wish that would be a little different, but not enough to make me not stop using it. But if a competitor can come out with those things with the same quality as the Rain 1 and have the features that I have been asking for, hey, I'm going to take a serious look. Okay. I feel like I'm in silence. There we go. Shout out to the Boom Bap Kids in the building. What is going on, fam? Boom Bap Kids, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. If you guys aren't following the Boom Bap Kids on Twitch, you guys are doing the wrong thing. I've said this. I've been saying this since the beginning of Twitch. The Boom Bap Kids are just happiness redefined for adults. Oh man, you got to do that. You got to follow them. Boom Bap Kid says, "Have you had any issues with 3080 crashing in OBS?" I have not, not at all. And I haven't really heard anybody of it. You know, although I don't know that I've updated to the most bleeding edge OBS. I think I'm still on a version right before. Typically speaking, it's a driver issue. But yeah, I haven't heard of anything. I haven't seen anything lately. I'll have to research that though, to see. Okay. I have to sneeze, so please hold. See, I knew I've been wanting to sneeze for like 5 minutes. I got out of the shower and it's just been sitting there waiting for me. Yeah. I have allergies. What can I say? It's hot. Allergies are there. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. You guys know what to do. Hit that ask if you have any questions. Yeah. It's not as big a glitch as you think. It just happens on occasion. One day you'll pop it in and some random song. It's always something random that'll happen. Just deal with it. Deal with it in a good way. Like I said, I've rarely had that happen. It happened a lot more in the beginning. But there are some updates coming to BeatSource Link. So I'm not really worried about BeatSource Link. Trust me. There are some really significant updates coming out. So it's just a matter of time. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Yes, I know Amsterdam is a big one too. I just, I'm from the U.S. Sorry. I can't be everywhere. Although I would love to. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, Kings fan 299 says, new to the DJ scene, but the DDJ 1000 Off-White is a $600 premium. Is it common to have a paint job that costs that much? No, it is not. Typically speaking, on a paint job, you'll get maybe $100 to $200 premium. $100 is kind of the going rate. Like if you know the S11 and then the 909 edition was like $100 difference. You had the Rain 62 and then the Z-Track version, which was $100 difference. This one is a custom in collaboration with another team, so maybe there's some money that has to go to that other team. I don't exactly know. I do believe there are some minor enhancements. I believe they put the newer Magville fader into the mixer. But yeah, it's a $600 premium. It's a lot. I think it's beautiful though. I can't lie to you. I'm an Orange fan. So I think it's beautiful. And to be fair, not to be fair. So my guy Pioneer was like, "Hey man, if you want it, I gotta get you the homie hookup." And I'm just like, I already have the DDJ 1000. I don't. If I were maybe looking for one, like say that it just came out and that was the one, and it had a premium, I might buy it. But I will say this: skins are a thing. Anybody that buys, the kind of custom edition ones, I feel like you're always limiting yourself in resale and what you can do. So, like when the S11 came out, and then they had the 909 edition, skin companies were coming out with skins within like a month. So you paid $100 and you're locked to it. But so I don't look. It is what it is. I don't know why it's the price that it is, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, that's the joy of consumerism. You choose with your wallet. Okay, so multiple screens. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Uh, Ratbone is correct. Uh, it's not so much. It's not so much don't use streaming services as at a paying gig. That's not really the issue. The issue is if you're going to use streaming services, make sure you have an offline locker. That's it. If you can have the music that you need downloaded to your local storage on your computer, then I don't really have an issue with streaming services. I have an issue when it's like, okay, oh, what songs did you request? Cool, okay. Put them in my little playlist on my streaming service, and then you get there and there's no Wi-Fi. That's the issue. But if you have an offline locker, like I have the BeatSource service with the offline locker. Anytime I get a request and I know I'm never going to play again, I'll throw it in the offline locker. I'm not worried about that because that's sitting on my drive. Okay. All right. DJ Easy Music Writer says, do you need a phono amplifier for your Technics 1200s, even if you have them connected to a controller when playing real vinyl, not DVS? Not necessarily. It depends on the controller. The preamps in every controller are different, so it absolutely depends on the controller, and they're not all created equally. Which one has it? The Rain one actually has a decent preamp in it. I haven't used all controllers. I'm not a big fan of controllers and turntables. It's just a lot of space between the turntable and the mixer, so I'm just not a big fan of it. But so I really can't answer. Let's see here. I know that the Roland 707 has good preamps because they literally promote themselves as you can use turntables with them. Yeah, but I don't know all of them. I got to be honest with you. Okay. DJ interview. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Philip Tan in the building. Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. Philip Tan says, think of it as fashion, same as sneakers. Yeah, Air Jordans don't cost more to make, compared to other sneakers, but some people are willing to pay. Yes, that is very, very true. Honestly, I love orange and the off-white. For a moment, I was like, oh, that'd be dope. Something that somebody else doesn't have. Especially if you were going to get a DDJ 1000 right now. Not that a DDJ 1000 isn't worth every penny, but it's a little long in the tooth. So I would, at this point in time, if you didn't absolutely need a controller, I would wait. That's me, just with my opinion. As far as the DDJ 1000, I wouldn't go out and rush to buy a DDJ 1000 right now. But everything is different. Okay, let's see here. DJ Reaper says, have you used Airstream DMX for your uplighting? That is a very good question. And the answer is every time. Although I don't use I use the Airstream DMX only for the syncing between my iPad because I use Lightrider, which also is my DMX Go. Stupid thing. Which is also my DMX Go. Lightrider and my DMX Go are one and the same as far as apps are concerned, but I use this guy every day, every event. I use this guy. Love him. The only issue that I went old school. So before my DMX Go came out, let's see if I can do this. Okay. Before my DMX Go came out, there was no option to have your Airstream to work with your iPad, or not to work with your iPad, to work with your iPad, but to not be able to send out a signal to other things. So I went with I had to use what do you call that stupid thing? ArtNet. And the ArtNet interface cost me another $100. This was before DMX Go, and this is before they came out with their version of the DMX Go. So I bought the Airstream DMX, and then I had to spend the $100 for the ArtNet, and then I got the so I could be able to control it. Without it, you can't control it. Now with the newer versions and the My DMX Go, it's perfect. But yes, to answer your question, I do use it. I use it with Lightrider. I have used it with the Airstream software because that's on here too. Yeah, Airstream DMX is on there too. Yeah, it's looking for network, but I prefer Lightrider. Lightrider to me just makes more sense. Lightrider works very well. In case anybody was ever wondering, works very, very well if you're dealing with a lot of moving heads. That's the strength. That's the power in Lightrider. Not even a lot, but a couple. Because if you're just doing color washes, I think there are easier programs for that. Because I also have the which are being charged right now, but the Ape Lab stuff, and the Ape Labs has a wireless receiver also. So I haven't used that on the field yet. I plan on it, but I haven't used it in the field yet. But if you're just doing color washes, I would probably say just using the Airstream software is better than using Lightrider. Lightrider requires too much just for like general color washes, but for moving heads, setting up your areas, defining where you want those moving heads to be and to stay in that specific range, that's where the strength is. Because like, let's say this is the moving features, and then this is the color changing features, and so right now that's a stationary. That's what this little crosshairs is. But if I want to change, and I guess I should probably explain, you got your typical presets, all the things you use. I don't typically name them because they're just moving light things, but I do have like static colors: red, blue, purple, teal, light, and what was I saying here? So you have two different ways to set your movement area. Okay, so in each preset you have your movements, but then you can also define kind of where they hit. So if you click right there, you have your little area here that allows you to say no. I want it to be here or here or here. So you can set these things up right there. When you want to define the actual places, you go into your fixtures and Intimidator, and then if you click on this area, you have a defined area right here. So now you can either shrink it down to where it sits in one area. Let's say the dance floor is, right here, and you don't want it to hit the tables, you don't want to hit the sides, you especially don't want to hit behind you, because that's the dumbest thing that moving heads do. You can define that. And then what's also cool is once you separate kind of your Intimidators and say, not your Intimidators, but your moving heads, and you set them off into their own DMX channels, then if you can actually go here and then you can flip this, and you see how it turned red? Now it's in reverse. So now you can have parity in your moving heads. You got them doing this instead of doing this all the time. So very, very cool stuff. Love it. It works really well. Okay, and maybe I'll do a video on it. There's a lot of videos about Airstream, and about Light Rider or My DMX Go. Like I said, My DMX Go and Light Rider, same program. There's nothing different about them. So, yeah, maybe I'll do a video. I haven't decided yet. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Make sure you guys put the ask in the chat. That way I know what's going on. Okay. DJ Gizmo says, I want a MIDI map and easier manual loop ability in and out reloop stutter with dual pad function. Do you see a problem with that? First 4 pads are hot cues, second hot pads. The S11. No. I mean, I know the S7 does that by default. But no, it should not be that hard to MIDI map. I am not a MIDI map god. In all honesty, I always have my guy Drew from Pioneer literally map everything for me. I'm like, I wanted to do this, and then he comes back and maps it for me. That's all honesty. God's honesty. Because he's done some pretty cool stuff, like the fact that I can use Algorithm DJ if I have Rain 12s with my S11. With my S11. And turntables, well, 12s anyway. So he mapped that. I know that's not available for everyone. But that's why I love him. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Not that. Okay, Stephen Bell says, just purchased the Pioneer 1000. You still use them? Yes, I actually own 2 of them. I have a record box version right there. I have a DDJ 1000 in a case that I use. I don't use it as much right now because of the Rain 1. But in the event that somebody has a controller, the DDJ 1000 is the one that I use. And absolutely love it. It's a great control. The DDJ 1000 to me is still the best non-moving platter controller on the market. There you go. Okay. Does the MacBook Air M1 chip work with Serato DJ Pro? Yes, it does. Okay. Steven just purchased PLX 1000s. Is it still a good purchase per se? I still have PLX 1000s right underneath this table. I love the PLX 1000s. I have not used all of the turntables out there. I haven't used all the super OEMs that most manufacturers are making, but the PLX 1000s have been stable. Have been rock steady for me. I have no issues with the PLX 1000s, and if people were to ask me, what turntables to buy, I would say there's a whole bunch of good ones out there now because they're all using the Technics OEM. So you're really not going to go wrong with pretty much all of them. I mean, I know the PLXs are great. A lot of people love the reloops. The Denons, the Audio Technicas. People swear by those, and they're super cheap. So, there's a whole bunch out there. Boom Bap Kid says, when will you have a Thursday free to come back with us? Not next Thursday. That's great, because I was literally going to send you a message saying I can't do it next Thursday. But we'll just block this down right now. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the 29th. I have the Mass Singer. I'm good. I'm good on the 5th. Yeah, after next week, I'm good. What's this one? Yeah, so the 5th or the 12th work great for me. Yeah, so let me know. I'll keep it open for you. Okay. The one. Okay, perfect. 12th. Gotcha. I'll put that down right now. Look at see what happens when you stay relevant. You know, you stay out there. You put your so there is this question about how people get gigs. By the way, Boom Bap Kids on Twitch. It's literally one of the dopest shows on Twitch. It's like Muppets for adults, hip hop Muppets for adults. So people always ask, like in IRL, in real life, you know, how do you get gigs? And why is my email going crazy at the moment? How do you get gigs? And I always tell people it's very simple. If you want to work, you have to be visible. And if you're not visible, it's likely you're not going to work. So if there is a nightclub, if there is a lounge spot that you want to be at, you have to be at that lounge spot. You know, if there's a nightclub you want to be at, you have to be at that nightclub. You have to be talking to promoters, talking to owners, talking to the other DJs that are there. That way they see you. That way they know you. That way they know that you're actually there and you're down for it. And then they will start to talk to you more about this. I mean, there were a couple of things like I wanted to do before COVID, Snapback Long Beach for the longest time. I had done the North Hollywood one, but the Long Beach one was like the mecca of like old school hip hop and people that love old school hip hop. But it was Long Beach, so it's kind of a far drive for me. But I wanted to do it, and I knew the only way I was going to be able to do it was if I literally went there. So one day I happened to be having a dance convention in like Lawndale. It's like 20 minutes from Long Beach, and we were staying over. So I went to Snapback Friday night. I was there. DJ Remark was there. Icy Ice was there. And, who else was, I can't remember who else was there. Anyway, you know, grab a drink. I'm standing on stage. I'm standing right next to Remark. And haven't said a word. And Remark just turns to me and says, "We need to get you out here." That's it. That's all it took. So what I'm saying is, if for anybody that wants to do these types of things or wants to develop more, you know, following and get people to notice you, the easiest way to notice you is to be there, to be where they are. That's the trick. Okay. Off my box. Oh, I forgot to put what I was going to put. Okay. All right, let's get back to the questions. And yes, the PLXs weigh a ton. This is why they stay here, and I don't travel with them anymore. Make sure you hit that ask button if you have any questions. Very important. Hit the ask. Very, very important. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's funny. I knew Remark before COVID, before quarantine, but not like I know him now. Like we were always in passing, because I'm friends with a lot of the Snapback guys. Paris is in Snapback. He's my partner. So, I know them all. But I didn't really know Remark because Remark never went. He didn't really go to the North Hollywood location. But it's been, the quarantine's been great. Just across the board. But you're not wrong. Okay. Let's see here. All right. It appears that the questions have stopped. If I forgot you, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. If I forgot your question, can I borrow Drew? Drew. Drew is his own man. Drew is doing some things for himself that I just sit there and say, only you, man. Like, hey, I think I'm going to just tear out this whole Pioneer controller and make some like Frankenstein controller with a touch screen and all the, I'm just like, dude, and it's not for anybody but himself. He just likes to fiddle, and he's that guy. Very impressive. He's a very smart guy. He's a brilliant guy. And I'm glad that I can consider him a friend. Because if it wasn't for Drew, I said this, there's a couple of people in the world that have actually helped me get to where I am. And yes, a lot of hard work for myself. I'm not saying that I didn't contribute, but as far as like getting me in the eyes of manufacturers, two people have done that: Mojax and Drew for Pioneer. If I didn't have Drew, Pioneer would have been a distant dream, in all honesty. But Drew, really believed in me. So, he got me in the door. So, that man, here. Okay. Let's see here. And Mulberry in the building. Philip Tan asks, let's see here. When you're gigging, do you do any processing on your audio before it reaches the speakers? Compression, EQ, drive rack, etc. Okay, good question. Actually, very good question. And it's one that I don't know if I'm going to be able to sneeze on because I'm sneezing like crazy. So hold on. Damn, my allergies are killing me today. Okay. All right. It probably doesn't help that there's a big ass fan because it's hot as hell in California right now. So I'm dealing with a whole bunch of things. But Kleenex. Okay. To answer your question, do I put any effects processing in the sound chain? I have Claritin. I actually don't use Claritin. I use Allegra. Every so often, look, I'm in California, and it's every so often it's too much. I'm on Allegra. I'm on Flonase. I got the gambit of stuff. Just today, it's hit me a little harder. Not the end of the world. It's a little sneeze. Okay. So to answer your question, yes and no. So on my bigger systems, I run everything through a drive rack. And then I let the drive rack kind of handle all the things about it. Drive racks are really, really cool because you choose the speakers that you have. You choose the amplifiers and all that stuff that you have. And then it makes the adjustments right there for you. So, as Mulberry says, everything stays at 12 o'clock. And then you let the other stuff adjust. Now, that's for like my speakers with multi-amps, my bi-amp speakers where I have passive highs and passive lows. If I'm rocking a powered system, to be honest with you, I don't really run them through any type of mixer. I typically go direct. And I know this is like, that's like the wrong thing to say. Every time you turn on a YouTube video, everybody's running their stuff through a mixer and then from the mixer out to the system. Does it work? Yes. Is it always needed? I don't think so. I can get a really good sound out of any of my powered speakers just by knowing how to EQ properly. So I EQ the highs, and then I EQ from the mixer panel. Now, obviously, it depends on the system you're using, but a typical 3-band EQ goes a long way. There are some tricks that you can do to get the sound you want out without really pressing the system. But in all honesty, I never use any type of drive racks to go out of my powered speakers. Sorry. I know that's like, oh, how dare you? You have to go out of a. Eh. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. Juan Johnson. Juan Johnson. That's hilarious. Juan Johnson says, "Did InMusic purchase Stanton just to shelf it?" I mean, I don't know. Most of the time, when people are acquiring other companies, they're acquiring other companies for the technology, and not so much for the hardware because it's InMusic. They have multiple branches with multiple pieces of hardware, so that's never really an issue. But you know, look, it happens all the time. A lot of times, people buy other companies just for their human resources. Like you got the engineering team, which are geniuses. You know, there's always there's so many reasons for why companies will buy other companies. You know, and it's typically never about the software itself or the hardware itself. Okay, my subs are dope. Any recommendations on where to send my Technics 1200s to get my RCAs upgraded and internally grounded? With the notion I'm going to be using a phase device instead of needles. I'm in California, about 3 hours worth of view. I don't know. I don't know anything besides what's local for me. There's like 3 companies or 3 repair shops in the Southern California area. One in Hollywood, one in where's that other one at? The one we've been using is in Burbank, and the other one, I'm not even sure it's in business anymore. But I guess the question is, what software are you using? Are you using a Mac? Are you using a PC? Are you because if you're, well, it doesn't even matter. Because if you're using phases, technically speaking, you don't have to worry about grounding at all because they're just glorified controllers. You know, if you plan on just using the phases. Okay. Which we got 30 more minutes. Okay. Roger Walker says, stop moving, screen. Sorry, I can't get the damn thing to work properly. I'll come back to Roger. Let me just go up real quick. Okay, there we go. Do you think since Rain was released with motorized platters as a 2-channel, they won't make a new version of the NS7 with motorized platters with 4 channels? That's a good question. I can't answer that question because sometimes you think they're going different, and then they completely switch it up. Here's the thing. I'm not sure that Newmark is the upper echelon of InMusic products. I think Newmark might be shifted to the lower tier consumer market, just based upon the latest releases they've had. But I could be completely wrong. I don't know that they would have. I can't see Rain having motorized platters and Newmark having motorized platters. Yeah, I know Denon does it, but Denon's selling to a completely different market. You know, Denon's selling to like the EDM. Not that it's EDM, but that's kind of the market they focus on. So I just can't see Newmark coming out with another NS7 variant. But I could be wrong. Like, I hope I'm not. I mean, 4-channel, I know a lot of people love the 4-channel. I don't, but a lot of people love the 4-channel NS7. So let's hope. But it just, I don't know, the writing just doesn't look good. Okay. Philip Ton says, yeah, I mostly brought out the drive rack for problematic venues myself, echoes feedback, but it's a pain carrying around this rack. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons that I don't love rack mounts. I I have a rack mount 4-channel mic that I love, but I hate the fact that like if I'm bringing a smaller setup, I gotta find a place for this rack. So now I'm looking for the 2-channel variant of it, which I plan on buying like this week. That way it can just sit on the side of the table. Because I got to get rid of my Shores, and everybody knows that the bandwidth was purchased, so a lot of the mics that you use on any manufacturer may be obsolete or may be technically against the law to use because you're using a frequency that you shouldn't be using. So I've been running into situations where my Shure mics just don't work properly because of where I am. Although the cheaper ones I've been using have been absolutely brilliant. So I think I'm going to buy another version, a 2-channel version of the 4-channel that I reviewed. That's from the Phoenix line. The 4-channel I reviewed, they finally came out with a 2-channel version, smaller box, which is what I love. And I think that's what I'm going to be using. Because I don't use the rack, I don't use the 4 mic handset one because it's just too big. And I got to find a place for it. Unless it's sitting in my coffin, which like in my DDJ 1000, I have the space under the rack. So that's where it sits. But ever since I've been using the Rain 1, I haven't bought a hard case for it. I've been using a soft case. So, yeah. Mike Feliciano in the building. What is going on, man? What is going on? Steve MC says Guitar Center is garbage. Loco Lopez in the building. What is going on? Good to see you. My subs are dope says, my next question is if I put stickers and or painted my Serato vinyl, would it mess up the connection between phases? No. Serato phase doesn't care what it's on. You could literally put it on a bicycle tire and spin it. It doesn't matter. It's the rotation. It's that's all that phase cares about. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what you do to the control records. You don't even need control records. You can literally put them on your turntable on the slip mats. The issue would be is just making sure that the magnet is holding on, because the magnet is what keeps it secure. So when you are doing, fast movements, your magnet's not spinning around and it's screwing up your mix, or you're scratching, or anything you're doing. Okay, let's see here. All right, I think that's Geraldine says, I'm upgrading to the Rain. I'm upgrading. Do you think the Rain 70 or 72 is better than from the S9? I think I've answered this one many, many times. First off, both the Rain 70 and 72 are better than the S9 because the S9 is outdated. Does it still work? Yes. Is it a good mixer? Yes. So don't DM me. Don't at me saying how good. I know. We're not talking about that. We're talking about where we are now. But I'm a fan of the Rain 70. I got one sitting right there in the box that I won't let my son use because it's mine. My hierarchy goes basically, in case you ever really wanted to know, S11. See, and this is where it gets a little shaky because I'm going to piss some people off, but this is just my opinion. Okay, S11, Rain 70, S7, and then the Rain 72. Controversial. I know it's controversial. I just don't appreciate the layout and design of the Rain 72. It's counterintuitive to me, which is why I put it so low on the chart. That's all. It's a great mixer, but for me, completely counter. I'd rather not use it than use it, if that makes sense. Because every time I use it, I'm like, why does this do this? Why does this do this? Why wouldn't they do this? And it just frustrates me. So I'd rather not be frustrated when I DJ. I'd rather have a screenless mixer that I know when I press a button, it does exactly what I expect it to do, versus it might, it may not. Or you didn't hit the shift button and then this and then page down. It's too much. It's too much for me. Diamond Lee with the resub. Thank you so much. DJ Reaper with the resub too. Also appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for hitting that sub button. It helps the channel, helps me out. So I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, you never know. I mean, you can go to the what is it? The FCC. They'll tell you what exactly works and what doesn't work. But what was it? The 900 megahertz spectrum and the 400? I can't remember off the top of my head. Just let your son have it. Maybe. He might actually be using it. Because he's not using my Rain 70. Just let you... Look. You guys know, especially if you have children, especially if you have teenagers, teenagers beat the hell out of your stuff. I gave him my SX2 to start with. After I got my 1000, I'm like, here you go, man. Use it. And then, I don't know, 3 months later, I go to use it because I needed to grab it for some reason. I think I was doing some testing on a video, so I needed to use that. And it was the nastiest thing I had ever seen. The faders were hard and crusty. The knobs were old and like they wouldn't turn. I had to like take off all the knobs and then re-clean it. And it was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. So, yeah, he's not going to get my Rain 70. Because in the event that maybe I am doing a gig somewhere, and I don't want to take the S11 because everything is wired perfectly under this desk, I'm going to take the Rain 70 because I know what it is and I know it's going to work the way I need it to do. You know, so the Rain 70 and the S11, those are my two mixers. I'll probably travel with the Rain 70 if that makes sense. If I need to travel. Okay. Yeah, DJ T Diesel. I could have the re-loop mixer in there. I could. But again, it's the layout that kills it for me. And I know I'm just one opinion. I get it. I'm not trying to say that my opinion is the one to go off of. But it just, people listen to my opinion and I appreciate that. But hey, I know some people that love the re-loop mixer, and it's a great mixer. I'm not saying it's not a great mixer. It's just not for me, if that makes sense. DJ Reaper bought the Rain 70 based on my review. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, let me know if you still love it. Mike Feliciano says, debating on putting the NL fader in. Yeah, so I love the NL fader in the Rain 70. Does it every so often? It'll have the NL fader has a strange random quirk. It happens like every so often, where you'll go to perform your cut, and this is few and far between. So obviously, not enough to make me remove it out of my mixer because I love the fader. Every so often, you'll hit that close, and then for whatever reason, on the next one it just won't reopen because it's the sensor in it, because it's a whole, I don't know the technology, but it's not using the same technology as the other ones. That's few and far between, but my cuts sound the best off of an NL fader. The S11 fader to me is the closest to the NL fader. Closest. And I actually do love the S11 and the S7 crossfader. The Mac 4 fader is fine. And every time I see a video where they're like, look at this world-class DJ. See, this fader is great. Don't tell me this fader isn't bad. And it's like, yeah, but that's a world-class DJ. Eddie Vedder can play on a damn $4, plastic guitar. That doesn't mean that you can. And I know the faders work. The Rain 1 faders are fine. Are they the best ever? No, not in my opinion. Are they better than the Mag? Are they better than the Mag 4, the Mag 3 faders? Yes, considerably better. But nothing. The 57 fader was I don't want to say it was the gold standard because I think the 62 fader was really good too. But you know, I don't know. The faders are just good right now. Ever heard of Deck Saver? Yeah, I can't stand Deck Savers. I would rather put literally a towel over my stuff than a Deck Saver. Why? Simple. You got to find a place for a Deck Saver. That's it. I used to have the Deck Savers on the turntables, and then I go to turntable. That's a verb today. And I go to DJ. I got to take my Deck Savers off. Now I got to look, where am I going to put my Deck Savers? I'll put them over there. Now I'm DJing all the time. The Deck Savers just sit on the floor. They're in the way. So I would rather put a big ass towel over my controller, some sort of vinyl, whatever, something else. How did somebody just call my personal line and then try to call the? Okay, so that's why I don't typically use Deck Savers. All right. Let's see here. Oh, somebody asked about the Rane 70 at 1,000. Yeah, the Rane 70 at 1,000 is a great price. I think at 1,000, that's the best mixer out there. At 1,000. Like I probably wouldn't hesitate. I don't think it's going to drop lower than that. Why would it? There's nothing out there that truly competes at that price point. You know. I mean, I know it's $14.99 and then it drops every so often. Some people will sell it for $13 or $12. When you're starting to look at price wise, the S7 versus the Rane 70, I believe the S7 comes in $100 cheaper. So I do believe they would drop because of the S7. And not even because one is better than the other, but because of just the name of Pioneer and people just going, well, it's Pioneer, S9, S7. So I don't think it's going to go below 1,000. I think 1,000 is amazing forever, honestly. Steve says, do you take your with you to do weddings? Do I take my what with me? You left out a word. So, yeah, because it's attached to my body. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're asking. Okay. All right, we got another 14 minutes, and I got to eat and run. Let's see here. Mag 3 versus Innovator. I think I just answered that. That's not even a question for me. Not even a question. You go Innovator. Without question. Okay. Yeah. I know everybody's saying I have one. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Deck Savers. They're just, for me, it's just in the way. Oh, okay. Do you take your son with you to do weddings? No, my son's only 14 years old, so he's not there yet. When he hits 15 and he's able to have a work permit, I'll probably start to take him more on gigs because it's an easy way to make some money. And to be fair, he's probably at this point better than my worst DJ. He's able to MC. He's earned a lot from me, like a lot, and he can dance. So he's like the triple threat when it comes to what I do as a business owner. So he will be working for me. He'll be working. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. I have to keep a section of my closet free to put my Deck Savers in when I'm streaming. So yes, if I had more closet space, but like right now, look, this isn't a flex, so don't even go there. I got so much gear everywhere, that I just don't have a place for deck savers to. Right now, I have a full Rain line setup sitting in boxes in my garage because I had no place to put them. I know that's horrible. I know. I'm not even trying to flex. That's just bad. And it was funny because I was kind of done with the Rain when phases came back, but because of Algorithms DJ, I'm gonna do a deep dive into Algorithm DJ once I get everything synced up. Whenever that happens. So I'm gonna bring my 12s back, so I can start really DJing with them and kind of pushing it to its like maximum capabilities. And because obviously DJ doesn't work with turntables yet, but it will work with the 12s with the Drew hookup. Let's see, 559 GJ Juice with the subscription. Thank you so much. Appreciate you on that. Make sure you guys are following all these guys. They're all fantastic people. Okay. Casel says, do you have a YouTube video on Ableton Live, and have you tried it yet? I own Ableton. I have Ableton Live 10. I have the Ableton Push 2. No, never did a video on it. Haven't been using it. I've been using Serato Studio, which just got like the biggest update on the planet. You can now record audio and vinyl, basically audio, period. Audio into Serato Studio. That was the thing that was driving me nuts, that you couldn't put audio in. You always had to have the digital files already there. Now you can literally record your vocals. That's a game changer. That's huge. And one other thing that they finally fixed, for the longest time, you couldn't truncate audio files on the left. You could only do it on the right. So you could go this way. But if you had something in the beginning, you couldn't truncate it. They fixed that too. I'm so excited to work on that. I'll be working on it probably after I come back from my meeting. I'll probably turn on. See, that's the problem. That's why I don't get anything done anymore. So many people are coming out with so many great things that I find myself like using everything, and then I don't do the video. So I gotta get back to doing the videos. So Mike Feliciano says sell them. Okay, here's the problem with selling them, and it's the same problem that I have when a company sends me a product and says you need to send it back. Number one problem, and you know who did a really good video on this is Mike Marquez. Mike Marquez. Not Mike Marquez. Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD. He did a video recently on how does he make money off of YouTube? What things? And he talked about what I've been saying forever is that, companies will send you gear, but then they'll ask for it back. But the problem is, the reason that you need to keep the gear is not just for you. It's not. It's more about the comparison, because somebody else will come out with something else. Or perfect example. Let's say the Rain One. Well, let's not say it is. The Rain One's been released, okay? And then a year from now, somebody else comes out with a hardware comparable, or a Rain 2 is released, or a Rain 1 MK2 with 4, whatever the reason, and those things come out. Don't you think that people want to know the difference between the products? And if I don't have the product, I can't compare it, and that's actually it's doing a disservice to everybody out there. I had the S7 here for 3 days, and then I had to send it back. And then people were like, well, what's the difference between the Rain 70 and the S7? Well, what's the difference between this and this and this? And it's like, I would love to do a shootout, but I got to send the product back. I don't have time to do the shootout. So having the gear here is very important. You know, that's the reason why I believe that manufacturers should allow you to keep the product, because anytime something new comes out, you naturally want to compare it to something else. Okay. Um, do you think Pioneer will be coming out with a controller similar to the SX3? I think it's a matter of time. In all honesty, uh, look, they are in need of a DDJ 1000 update. Um, I would say more so than the SX3, because the SX3 is I mean, when you really look at the SX3, it's kind of the culmination of all the years. The 1000, I mean, the SX1 was kind of a game changer when it came into the market, but still had a lot of issues. When the SX2 came, that was almost a perfect controller for those capacitive platters, except the audio quality sucked. And it needed some more mic channels, and it needed a secondary USB for switching off. Then the SX3 came out and gave you all that stuff. I'm saying that it's like it's almost perfect. So I'm not sure the SX3, even if an SX4 comes out, I'm not sure, you know, what they would want to do with it. But they're always going to have iterations, always. But I do believe the DDJ 1000 is definitely in need of an update. All right. Let's see here. All right, a couple more. Then I got a bounce. DJ Reaper says, you may have answered this at some point, but is the Rain 1 going to upgrade the onboard effects or release the Rain 2? And this is a very simple answer. NDA. Even if I don't know, but even if I did know, I couldn't say anything anyway, because that's what the NDA is for. However, look, I know they're listening. I know I'm not the only one that said no onboard effects. Well, that sucks. So I think that on the next iteration, and I also believe it's not the next iteration that's going to drive it, it's the competition. If somebody else comes out with something else and it's giving the stuff that people ask for, then it's just a matter of time before, you know, Rain says, okay, we got to put this in because we need to, or we're going to lose business. Low pass and high pass knob, can it be assigned to different effects? I believe you can mini map the low pass and high pass. I have not done that because I use it. No, it can be. It's 100%, because I know that even right now with Virtual DJ and Algorithms DJ, if you want to use the knobs to support stems, they can be used. So yes, they definitely can be MIDI mapped properly. Hopefully, I just don't know if they can be MIDI mapped by regular people or if it requires, you know, you to really get into the nitty gritty. Okay. So if I can't send it, and all these things are on, you know, extended loan anyway, you know, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Oh, reverb, EJ. Good, thank you. I gotta put Twitch down so I can get stuff done. Gatsby says, talking about that, do you still have the Rain 1 they sent you for reviewing? Yes, I do. Guys, everybody that's asking anything, look, even though I haven't posted a lot on YouTube, or, you know, necessarily, I post a hell of a lot on IG. I post scratch sessions, gear pics when I'm out on location. All of these things are on my IG. So make sure you're following me on IG. If I have a mod in the building, can you please put that in the chat? But it's Cleveland Terry _. Oh, hey, Tony V, I appreciate that, man. But there are some really good ones out there. Even I listen to some people out there. Not necessarily for, you know, style or anything like that, but some just have great information, especially if there's a product that comes out that I don't get, because it happens. I don't get every product. Sometimes there are people out there that just have higher, they're just higher echelon. So they just get things like the the DDJ 1000, the custom, the off white. But typically speaking, on Pioneer stuff, I get an email from Pioneer with notification. Hey, this is what's coming out. You know, this is the embargo. Here's the press release. Blah blah blah. If you want to talk about it, I didn't get anything for the off white. I learned about it the next day. You know, but Crossfader had a demo in the building. So, you know, I don't get everything. And I would have loved to have checked it out, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. I can't get mad about stuff like that. Okay. All right. Maybe add post faders to the 1000 SRT and add the music scroller that the SX2 and SX3 have. That would help. Yeah, there's a lot of tweaks that can be made. And they just have to decide which way they want to go, because they could go several different ways. The weakest link of the DDJ 1000, I feel, is I think we're past the one channel effects. I think we're past that. I think we're past, okay, hold on, let me throw an echo on. Oh, what channel? Let me look down. Oh, channel 2, channel 2. Oh, now I want to do channel. We're past that. People are multitasking now, and that's just too much work. The old school way of, and I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works just fine. I just hate it. Absolutely hate that about it. You know, and then and that's the problem. Once you start using things like the Rain 1, and you start using the paddles, and you're using, you know, your S9 and your S11, your S7, your Rain 70 and 72, going back to the DDJ 1000 effects feels archaic. Yeah, I don't really go live on IG, to be honest with you. You know my opinion about DJing on IG. Okay. Any new songs you're playing at weddings? Oh, you missed a great show, you missed a great show. Fresco Music. We talked all things wedding music yesterday. So it's still on the stream. Go check it out. Go check it out. I'm also going to post it to YouTube, but I have to edit it down. So, but yeah, that's the show we talked about yesterday. Okay. All right. Oh, that's funny. That is very, very funny. All right, let's see here. Okay, hold on. I gotta check travel to see how long it's gonna take me to get there. Please don't say it's too much. Okay. All right. That means now. Okay. So, let's do one more question, and then I gotta get up out of here. DJ Kluby, you know, let's answer that one. Okay, and then we're going to get up out of here. Let's see here. Okay, DJ Kluby says, did a wedding last Saturday, went well, but you can't please all the people. Went with the bride's playlist, but feel a little deflated. Any comments? Tweak Music Tips in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. We're just about to break out because I got a meeting to get to, and I got a text message coming for you. I was sending it from the mountains, and the signal was real bad. It's on its way, though. It's on its way. Okay. So you did a wedding. You think it went well. Based upon that statement, I don't know how many weddings you've done. It kind of sounds like maybe you haven't done a lot of weddings or, you know, private events, that kind of thing. But I could be wrong. Went well with the bride's playlist. Feel a little deflated. Okay, so I'm just making assumptions here. You had your meeting. She said, "Here's the music I love. Make sure you play it. Here's my favorite songs. I want to hear this. I want to hear that." And then you got there, and people weren't feeling her music, which does happen. So two things Two things that I always tell people to do. I tell people to make sure they let the client know that the request list is fluid. Okay, meaning if you have to make an audible choice, you're going to do that for the success of the party. Now, I'll tell people I need to know the songs you absolutely want to hear. Like, and don't give me 50 songs. Like, give me your top 10, top 15 songs that you need to hear that night. And then give me the songs you absolutely don't want to hear. Okay? That way I can mold the party to your liking. Because if you're just having to follow some 60 song playlist, it's typically going to backfire on you. No matter what, no matter how hard you try, because you are kind of chained. Your hands are tied. So you can't really make changes because you're like, I don't want to piss off the bride. So chances are a little more communication in the beginning goes a long way. Now, having said that, I have done weddings where the bride's like, I don't care what people ask for. This is the music I want to play. It's my wedding. Play my songs. And then I tell them, okay, I will definitely play your songs. It's your wedding. You do whatever you want. But here is the reality of it. It may not go according to plan because this music doesn't necessarily work for a large party gathering, and I can only do so much. So if I have to stick with this, this is what it is. It's basically managing your expectations, okay? Not your expectations, managing the client's expectations, letting them know what could happen if they tell you to do something and you know it goes against what you know to work, okay? So then you get there and it doesn't work and you're like, so when they start complaining, you can say, yes, remember when we had this conversation 3 days ago and I told you that this wasn't going to work and I needed to be able to make changes? Well, this is why. Oh, you're right. Okay, you know what? Go ahead and play what you want to play. But if you don't communicate with your clients, your expertise, and I put this in bold, your expertise is what they are booking. Okay? Your expertise. So if they don't want to take your advice, or if you aren't strong enough to say, hey, guys, I this is kind of my job. I know what I'm doing here. I think we might want to change a little bit. Hey, I got your list. This is a great list. I'm gonna pick and choose where I want to put the stuff, right? Like these 5 songs, this is more for dinner music. So I'm gonna play these during dinner, but during the dancing, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'm gonna kind of read the crowd, kind of feel it out. Is that cool with you? Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. You gotta be able to. You have to be in command. That's all I would say. And I love weddings. Weddings to me are super fun. Coming from bar and bat mitzvahs, which, the money is very well there, which I'm not leaving bar and bat mitzvahs. But coming from bar and bat mitzvahs, what you'll notice is you're limited in what you can play. So you can play kids music and you can play contemporary adult music. And that's pretty much it, because you got adults with 13-year-olds, so that means they're probably sitting at around, between 40 and 50 years old. And then you have kids music. That's it. You don't really deviate from that. So when you do a wedding and you can play anything and everything you want, that's a blast. Love those. All right, guys. I definitely got to get out of here because I got to get to this meeting and it's about an hour away. So let's take a look at who is on, so we can do some rating. This is for YouTube, not YouTube people. This is for Twitch people, guys. So let's see who is on. Let's see here. Let's raid Wally Sparks. Let's raid Wally. Wally Sparks is dope. All right, where is my raid? Okay. We're going to raid Wally. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out today. Just as I said before, we're Everfresh in the building. What's going on, man? We are changing up the way we're doing it. I think I'm killing Mondays because it's just killing me after I do weekend events, it's just really too hard to get in there, and it's just hard. So Mondays might be reserved just for DJing if I decide to start DJing more. We're going to keep Wednesdays. We're going to keep Thursdays. I know that for a fact. Wednesdays and Thursdays are a go. I feel like there should be one more day in there just because it's too much of a gap. In my opinion, I could be wrong. Let me know in the chat. But I'll figure it out. I'll post on my IG when I'm on. But Wednesdays and Thursdays are a go. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Appreciate all of you. And what is today? Today is Thursday. I will have YouTube videos up tonight and tomorrow because I need to. And probably this whole weekend. I'm actually not working this weekend. So unless my wife wants to drag me around the world, because that's what happens when you're not working. I got IRL gigs coming the following week, and then every weekend I'm working. All right, guys. Peace out. Peace out to everybody. Tweet Music Tips in the building. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.